Random question.
Do you have a random question?
What? That was a random question.
Ready? I'm going to be ready. 3, 2, 1.
What's up?
Shall we begin? Let's begin now.
What's up, and welcome to episode 2 of Drunk on Mana, a podcast about video games and other geeky stuff as we see fit. I'm Tom, and I'm joined today by the dual team of the most dangerous assassins in the galaxy, Alicia.
Hi.
That's where you say hi.
That is Alicia.
Alicia with the beard, and Tim
Yes.
with the lady
Isn't it
parts.
glorious?
We're joined by the incredibly attractive and
Yes, the
absolutely flawlessly gorgeous bearded Tim. And the other chick. And today
the
they're
other
sharing
chick.
a headset.
Oh,
And
you're here too.
we are also joined by Matt, who once again does not have a camera, so today he is played by
He's
Space.
space. Yay! That's space.
How fitting.
This is actually an accurate picture of Matt. It's just zoomed out 5 billion times. So he's there. He's there. You just have to trust that he's on this planet. So, our super
I'm here.
awesome super focus today is going to be on the super awesome movie Guardians of the Galaxy, which I and Alicia and Tim have seen and universally loved.
Yes. Loved.
Okay.
So much. I liked it enough to see it the second time with Tim.
This is
But I
true.
also have to see every Marvel movie with Tim. I haven't seen the past like 2 or 3, and I've felt like the worst person in the world. It's like tradition, so when I don't see them with him, it feels wrong.
I went and saw it entirely alone. It was actually really fantastic. It was a super peaceful experience. I was in a sort of like Marvel Zen. So that was a lot of fun. But to kick things off, as we like to do, we start with a random question. And the one that we decided on was... Help me out, guys.
Favorite superhero?
Favorite superhero. We're going to go really generic with that. Favorite superhero of anything? Marvel, DC, or what?
I think we should narrow it down, like
Marvel.
maybe Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah, since
But
we're
even
talking
that's like...
about- since it's Guardians, we'll just go Marvel.
All right.
Marvel hero.
Sounds good. So, who wants to go first, Tim?
Well, I guess I'm going first. Thanks for the help. My favorite superhero, pretty sure most of you guys already know,
Oh, yeah.
Miss Marvel,
Yeah.
who is now Captain Marvel. Overall, I think she's one of the better heroes in the Marvel world. She can fly, she has the strength, she has the durability, she has her main ability, the energy manipulation. Like, she absorbs it and then can fire it back.
Yeah.
So, hands down, Carol Danvers. My hero.
she's your girl.
She's not only my favorite superhero, she's my hero. And why, Tim? Why is she your hero?
Yeah. How come?
You've never actually explained this, so I am genuinely curious right here and now to know why you love Miss Marvel.
Well, most of the time I tend to play, I don't know, female badasses in video games.
He
Right
always
on for
plays
that.
chicks.
Do. I don't know why, I just do.
And I always play dudes.
That's true.
It's funny because
Myself.
Well,
it's funny because like Alicia plays really burly buff dudes, and I don't know about you, Tim, but if you're anything like me, if you're playing a chick, it's like a like wiry little thief girl.
yeah.
Named Red, or some version of Red. That's like our habit.
I know. The fact that we managed that was
That was, we should probably explain
probably.
Yeah,
When we-
I would like to know
Okay.
what's going on.
Going back to Dragon Age 2,
Yep.
we both almost simultaneously at the same time, and we didn't discuss this with either one of us, decided that we were going to play a female rogue who was kind of evilish.
Mm-hmm.
And we both ended up managing to name her Red.
with absolutely no
Well, you-
pre-planning.
No communication between the two of us at all. And then when we finally met each other, it was just like, yeah, I was playing like a female rogue,
Your
and she
name
was
was
kind
Red.
of evil, and her name was Red, so it was
just
like
like-
Red Hawk, and you're like,
Yeah, because it was Red
Really?
Hawk.
You and I had been talking about it the other day, the character named Nyx.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have a character that I've been playing in Dark Souls. Her name's Nyx.
And I had a character.
I guess I don't
in-
always play dudes, I guess.
I had a character in Guild Wars 2, oh my god, not Nasari, Asura, the little Dobby type people, named Nyx. So we've decided that Tim absolutely loves Miss Marvel with all of his heart and soul.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Good job.
alright, so since you're sitting there, Alicia, favorite Marvel hero?
Really difficult. It's a hard one because, like, probably my two favorites, and I feel like a lame for going with Logan. Wolverine has always been, like, I love his whole origin story. That's always been a favorite of mine, but I'm also a big fan of Gambit, the Raging Cajun.
Now, how did you
Ladies' man.
feel about the Origins Wolverine movie?
You know, I thought it was alright. I really was excited because it was in Origins, right? That had Gambit in it, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, it's gonna be awesome. And then they just didn't utilize him as much as they could have. I felt like
Yeah,
I'm still waiting for a Gambit movie.
yeah, he was really well. I think probably what they were going to do, since they were going with the X-Men Origins like headline, is they were going to say, okay, now we're going to do Cyclops, now we're going to do Gambit, now we're going to do so and so. But it
Right.
wasn't
Yeah.
widely loved of a movie, so I liked it.
Yeah,
I dug
well,
it.
I thought that they did an okay job with the last movie that they did. That whole comic series that it's based on is really brilliant. It was really well done. Logan's
So-
time in Japan. Tom, I would love to know who
Yes.
your favorite Marvel hero is.
That's hard because for all of my life, like up until about 4 years ago, it was Spidey. No question. Like, I was just, Peter Parker was my man. But then I saw the first Iron Man movie and thought, oh, I like this guy a lot. Like, I knew
Robert
nothing.
Downey Jr. just owns Tony Stark.
Yeah.
He does such a great job with that character.
He's the human Tony Stark, and I guess I knew nothing about Iron Man going in. I knew absolutely nothing about Iron Man, so it was this completely new thing to me, and that whole iteration of that character was this completely fresh thing, so I had no baggage going in, like I didn't have anything to expect, so I just was like, everything
Yeah.
I see I love. All of this I enjoy.
Yeah.
So, Spidey up until I was probably 18, and then Iron Man from 18 to now. With still Spidey, but I do not like the Andrew Garfield Spidey. So, it's more like
Right on. Yeah.
like comic Spidey, like even more than Tobey Maguire. I like the comic Spidey.
Oh my god, I really didn't like Tobey Maguire as Spidey. I guess I just felt like all of those movies were awful. Like,
I liked,
second one was fantastic,
yeah, I liked
though.
the second one with Ock. They did a really good job with that.
Duck,
Yeah,
Dr. Octagonopus.
Matt Ross Crafton.
Tom, some kind of letter maybe. Jordan.
Thomas Joseph Jordan.
She's got it.
Joseph?
Yes.
Really? That's boring.
I'm sorry, I'll shorten it to be something more like Ross then.
Tom, change your middle name to Bartholomew.
Tom J.
Thomas Bartholomew
Tom
Winchester Eduardo
J.
Jordan.
J.
Yeah, it is TJJ.
Alright.
Matt, favorite Marvel superhero?
Oh my god, it's a hard one for me.
The orb went
It's
silent.
really, really, really difficult. It's just the most difficult. No, it's not really. It's Thor.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Really should have been
Sad.
able to
We
call
should have
that
seen that
one.
coming.
Yeah. Why Thor,
Yeah.
Oh
Matt?
my god, where
I saw it coming.
do I begin? Don't
why.
say why Thor.
Thor makes a lot of sense for Matt, the human space Viking. I mean, he's a space
Yeah, he
Viking.
really is
He
a
actually
human space
is a space Viking. Like, that's everything you love,
Yeah.
Matt.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Matt in 2 words.
I had read very little of the comics when I was a kid, and I loved the character back then, but I didn't really understand half of the stuff I was reading. because I was like 5.
He's got a hammer.
He smashes things. Who's this chick? But then when the movie was being hyped about being made, I was just like, oh my god. And I was really excited.
I thought that it was Chris Hemsworth, right? Played Thor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He did such a great job. Chris Hemsworth was such a great cast for that.
I was nervous because my only knowledge of Thor was this very, 1970s pretty boy looking character. You know, the way that they drew him. I thought these, Prince Valiant locks that he had. And then when I saw the first image of Hemsworth doing, this really, I believe this guy's a Viking. He looks like a Game of Thrones kind of fantasy medieval barbarian. I was like, oh, cool. I can dig this.
While I loved the first movie, I feel like it was too much sci-fi and not enough fantasy. The second movie, I think they nailed the style.
Yeah, they did a much better job with the second movie, I felt like. And I, really love Tom Hiddleston as well as Loki.
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't?
Yeah. There's some sort of universal love there, yeah.
As far as the first movie, though, I just have always had a problem with Natalie Portman in those movies. I'm just, really hating on actors and actresses tonight. But Natalie Portman, she's great. She's super talented, but just not for that role. She didn't belong. It should have been somebody else.
In the first movie,
I will see you halfway because I liked the girl, because I like the actress who is her sister or something.
Kat Dennings.
Kat Dennings.
She's hilarious, and I love her so much.
And she sort of stole the show as far as the human characters go in that. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And Matt and I were also talking earlier about 3D in movies, and I actually thought that the first Thor, we were saying earlier, did a really good job with 3D. As far as being a movie that's worth watching in 3D.
The 3D in the first Thor, though, was more perspective. I didn't think I actually had the
right.
Well, that's what I like. That's what I was telling Tom, that I liked how they enhanced the perspective with it.
Well, that's I saw Star Trek Into Darkness in 3D in IMAX theater.
Yeah, we did.
And it was awesome. That was the way to see it. The movie was so beautiful. The whole opening sequence where they're running through that red planet, and then as soon as the ship comes up, the Enterprise comes up through the water. It's just
one sequence that I've always wanted to actually see in 3D was, say what you will about the movies, but the beginning of the last Star Wars movie that was made, the name's escaping me, Revenge of the Sith.
Good job. I was about to beat you with the camera.
The very beginning sequence of that, where Anakin and Obi-Wan are flying in through the space battle, in 2D, that was so... Yeah. To see that sequence in 3D would be really awesome.
I agree.
Gravity was also... I'm so grateful I saw that in 3D, because that was...
I haven't seen that.
There was nothing deeper than the vast expanse of space. We actually talked about this on our audio cast last year, that it's just when you've got space, it's okay, what's the furthest our 3D setting can go? There's nothing else. So it was, and then you have the debris just wah, 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 wah. So that was really cool.
Turn it up to 11.
Yeah. It was up to 11 in space. So, speaking of movies,
yay!
I'm so
we
bad
have a movie
that
we want to talk about.
So, Guardians of the Galaxy. Holy shit.
That was so good. Tim and I went to see it again yesterday. Well, I went to see it again yesterday. Tim saw it for the first time yesterday. I saw it a few days ago in 3D. And that was pretty good, too. But yeah, it was so good. And I thought that, Chris Pratt, who did an excellent job in the Lego movie, he was such a great voice actor for that. He was so good as Star-Lord. He was hilarious and perfect and adorable, and I just want him to be my best friend.
We only know these characters from the movie. We don't know them from how they act in the comics.
Right.
So seeing them from a movie perspective, we're like, oh my god, this is wonderful.
Yeah, I
But
wonder
then there may
how
be
they
somebody
compare.
else who's just like, no,
That's not him at all.
Like, yeah, coming in to the entire thing objectively, I was like, I enjoy this character. I enjoy who this character is portrayed by this actor. For all of them, for everybody. It was like,
Yeah.
I accept all of this on face value and love it. It was interesting because, you know, Alicia and I were talking after she saw it, and you sort of made the comparison to Han Solo. That he's Star-Lord is this sort of Han Solo character. He sort of rides this line between being a Han Solo and a Captain Mal from Firefly.
Yeah.
Because and of
true.
course everyone says,
The best of both worlds.
yeah, and everyone says Mal is Han Solo, but there is this sort of difference. Han Solo is kind of more actually of a jerk, like, when you really think about it.
Yeah.
He's more straightforward jerk, and has this kind of swagger about him, like he knows he's the best, where Mal knows he's flawed. And this was kind of somewhere in the middle of, like, I'm awesome, I think,
Yeah,
of a
right.
character.
Yeah, no, I thought that he did such a great job, and like I was trying as soon as I got done seeing the movie, I like called you and I was like, oh my god, and it was so funny. And they had all this, and he was totally like the whole opening sequence. He's just dancing and singing. The whole soundtrack of the movie is absolutely perfect, and you're just like, okay, yeah. And it's like, but you don't understand. It's so good.
And it's true.
And as soon as you finally. Like, there's no way to put into words. Like, yeah, and he was dancing around these ruins, and it was like the best intro ever. You're just like, okay.
But there was so much more that, like, was going on. That whole intro sequence, the very beginning of the movie, he is actually really awesome. Like, his design with the mask, that is so cool. With the trench coat, that is so, like, genuinely on first blush, that's an intimidating character. So they really set the stage like, whoa, who's this guy? And the first thing that happens is he turns off his mask and puts on his Walkman and starts playing like late 70s pop, and he's singing along with it, kicking through the puddles and kicking creatures that are in this ruin. And it's like this really great take on Indiana Jones, a little bit. Yeah. Because he's going after this little item here. So I was figuring you especially.
I love Indy. But yeah, so he just, that whole sequence is brilliant, and really, really great shots, and the whole movie though, everything was so good. Bradley Cooper as Rocket. I was really...
Oh yes, I love him.
I was so skeptical because I was like, Bradley Cooper's a great actor and I love him, but can he can he not take himself seriously long enough to nail this role? Mm-hmm. And he did such a good job.
Mm-hmm. If I have a character that's my takeaway, it's Rocket Raccoon, because he was just so... He's got this, like, Italian mobster kind of, like, scout from Team Fortress thing going on. And so, of course, that just was instant love. And him palling around with Groot, I mean, my God. Like, that's such a great team.
Funny. I felt like Groot, I did like Groot. Mm-hmm. I feel like I should have liked him more than I did. I was just I was a little bit indifferent. I was like, yeah, he's cool, whatever.
He was straightforward. I mean, when I saw it, there were a lot of, every time Groot did something, I could hear all of the girls that were in the theater going, oh! So it's like he was he was appealing to something that I wasn't quite connecting to. I was just like, this is awesome. Look at this tree. Like, there's this one moment where he rams, this is a weird sentence to say, but he rams his branch arm through a legion of bad guys.
He, shoots it through the center of them. Yeah.
And just impales
them. And just, smashes them all around.
Yeah, he's just swinging left and right. And you only see his back, and a couple of the other characters are looking like, oh my god. And he's swinging, it's this really malicious thing. And then he drops him, and he turns around, and he's like...
Yeah, totally breaks the fourth wall. Turns to the camera and just gives this great, friendly smile.
Did I do good? Speaking of Groot, the only moment that kind of... the movie did a great job of being self-aware, and I want to talk about that in a second. But the only moment that kind of took me out of everything is, they're in this dark area, and out of nowhere, Groot, summons fireflies? Sparkly lights?
It's sort of glittery ashes or something.
And it's actually like one of the few moments in the movie
Shiny pollen.
where they're looking at this and they're just like, oh, that's beautiful. And I was so expecting them to be like, what the hell is this? And it's not. They actually just kind of stop. And it's like, oh.
And appreciate it, yeah.
Yeah. And while it's nice, and it was a nice spectacle, and again, to go back to the 3D thing, it was cool to have this glittery pollen in my eyes, which is not a sentence I thought I'd normally say in life.
I think that's an original sentence that's probably never been said before.
Yeah, cool. Let's trademark that. Well, not to give a too big of a spoiler away. I mean, we're touching on spoilers anyway, but there's a big one involving Groot. It's this really suddenly emotional moment that you're like, the tone goes brr.
Yeah, I really liked that. That was the one moment where I was like, man, okay, Groot, you're cool. I dig you. But, the rest of it, I was sort of indifferent. Sorry, go ahead.
I did appreciate that he was voiced by Vin Diesel, which means this is not the first time that he's voiced a large, giant creature that only says very, very few things and has a big heroic sacrifice.
See what you did there. See what you did there. Giant.
Yeah. Oh, the irony of it all.
Clever.
Yeah.
I want to watch that. I loved that movie. Iron Giant
It was a great movie.
Yeah. Yeah, we had Star-Lord, we had Rocket, who was just awesome, we had Groot, we had... everybody was really funny. Like, Star-Lord's outwardly funny, he's outwardly telling jokes, same with Rocket. But I think the character with the funniest dialogue in the entire movie consistently was Drax.
He was hilarious. The fact that his race at one point you find out are completely literal. They don't make jokes. They don't use metaphors. They're straightforward people.
There's a scene that's actually out on YouTube right now where he's got one of the characters up against the wall. He's about to kill her, and Star-Lord comes in and he's like telling him to chill out. He's like, relax man.
Oh, yeah.
And he's basically saying like, you'll get your chance to kill this person that you're looking for. And he motions like this. Star-Lord motions to Drax. He says, and you'll be able to, And Drax just looks at him.
That's when you... Why would I put my finger on his throat? What? Oh, no, it's a symbol. This is a symbol for you slicing his throat.
And then he's like, no, this is a metaphor. Everybody knows that everybody. And then Star-Lord looks to another character, and he's just like, you know what this means, right? This is something. And the guy's like, yeah, totally, yeah.
He goes, everybody knows what this means. And Drax, who's played by Batista, so
oh my God.
It's just, he's got this like, he's actually like a ditz, and it's so funny. It's so funny. He's a space cadet. Like, they mention at one point that metaphors are over his head, and he says, nothing would go over my head. My reflexes are too good. I would catch it.
Yeah.
And he's just got this deathly serious, like, I am
not a princess.
I know, I love that. I spared your life once, princess. I am not a princess. Yeah, I thought he did a great job, and I really liked the makeup that they used. Like, the whole... it had to be really time-consuming to get that all set up every time they had to shoot, because the character has this really intricate, like, sort of... Is it his skin, or is it just tattoos?
I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
My knowledge overall of the Guardians consists of, like, a few episodes from cartoons scattered here and there.
Right.
And even from the cartoons, they had a different team of Guardians. It was, like, Star-Lord, Rocket, Groot, and then, like, Adam Warlock and like Quasar.
Right, and I know
like,
people were like
Drax
looking for them.
There.
Yeah, people were looking for like Adam Warlock in this, and there were little things like in the collector's room that they were like, oh, that's maybe so and so.
The Collector, who's played by Benicio del Toro, who I love.
That was.
I know nobody else knows who he is.
Well,
but I love
that
him.
was actually the only character where I was like, oh my god, you're not chewing the scenery, you're swallowing it whole. Like. And I know that was the character who's supposed to be this big hammy kind of like, yes, there's all the stones. But I was like, I was with Rocket. And I was so glad that Rocket was throughout that sequence being like, oh my god, we do not care. But the other member that we haven't mentioned yet, which unfortunately was probably the least fleshed out, was Zoe Saldana's character, which was Gamora.
Yeah.
and she was basically doing her Avatar thing, except she was green this time.
I appreciate a lot. Like, Zoe Saldana is genuinely interested in sci-fi. Like, she
Yeah.
likes doing stuff like this. So I have, like, super respect for her that's her thing. And she did a great job with a lot of the action sequences.
Right, for sure.
Like, you gotta give her super credit for that. And I don't know. I really like the character. Sort of reminded me from time to time of something that you and I, Tom, work on writing about. So I thought that she was pretty cool in that aspect. But yeah, she was all right. I mean, what's not to love about a green super killer assassin?
You'd have to ask Star-Lord
in the
that.
universe.
Deadliest.
And yeah, I mean, she was sort of given this backstory, you know, in how she plays into the whole thing with Thanos and all that. And that was interesting, and that gave her enough clout that she didn't really need to do too much. You know, it sort of was like, oh, okay, I already kind of have an idea of what this character's motives are. And then they instantly change it. They instantly subvert it. Like, oh, you think that she's on this side, she's actually on that side kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, and that was okay. I was okay with that, because it just was like, all right, she fits in this slot, you know. She wasn't the help me.
She fills this character here. Yeah.
And so that was cool.
I feel like the way that Tom described it, it's just like somebody handed you a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You go, you want this? You want this? Oh, too bad, peanut butter and fluff.
Kinda. That's a metaphor, all right, Tim. I would not want that at all.
But yeah, the other thing is that I love that Nathan Fillion had a cameo.
Yeah,
like
let's
the
talk
fact
about
that
cameos.
he, like a really tiny role, like itty bitty, like piece. But like after the fact, sort of IMDbing through everything, I was like, Nathan Fillion was in that. Oh my god! And so the next time through, I was like, that was him. Like, the first time I didn't even notice it.
I actually had to look it up because I had no idea. I was looking for him because you told me he was in it. I was like, he's got to be some either alien that's really prosthetic up or CGI. But
I love how when they first were like, Nathan Fillion's gonna have a cameo, and like the whole internet exploded. They're like, I wonder who's he gonna be.
They're like, it's gonna be Nova. It's gonna be Nova. It's like, no, Nova.
Yeah.
Nope. Minuscule, tiny role.
But still super cool. I love that he still does stuff like that.
I was doing the favor for a friend.
Yeah.
Now here's I wanted to mention this because this is really interesting. This connection and stuff. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the film Slither at all.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's terrible. It's a great B horror movie.
Yeah. Now, James Gunn, who directed this, right, who directed Guardians of the Galaxy, directed Slither. The basically main character of Slither was Nathan Fillion. He was playing a sheriff of this small town.
That's being infested by these weird little, like, zombie slugs.
Yeah, it's an homage to a lot of, like, 80s horror, body horror kind of films.
Yeah, zombie flicks.
The villain in that is... Oh, I knew I was going to forget his name, but he's the guy who plays Yondu in this, who was Star-Lord's, like, sort of pirate captain father figure with the headlamp and the arrow.
Which in the comics, Tim and I were talking about it, he's actually got, like, a 3-foot-high mohawk, like, and he uses just a bow and arrow.
One of the original Guardians in the original lineup. So it's like... this whole crazy convoluted thing, but it comes together really well. Now that's something where, again, not a big comic reader, I don't have any of like, oh, they ruined Yondu.
I actually have Guardians of the Galaxy comics. I never actually read them, but I have like early 90s Guardians of the Galaxy comics.
Well, I guess this lineup, this like with Star-Lord and all of them, only came about in 2008, I was reading.
It's like the more recent
So this
Guardians.
is like super recent. This is even fresh in the comics verse. So
right, so Owen probably is fully aware of everything that's going on with them because he is so up to date. He's been like reading all the most recent Guardian stuff.
Owen unfortunately had to work tonight, so he couldn't be with us, but maybe at some point we'll be able to check in with him in a future pod and get his thoughts on it. I know that he loved it. I know he loved the film a lot. And a
lot of people like the film. Critics all around they're saying.
Well, and like you were saying earlier, like about the movie being self-aware, like it doesn't take itself too seriously. Like it's great. It's got great graphics. It's funny. It's not too long. You know, it's 2 hours long.
Right.
Whereas like when when I went to see Transformers, the newest one, it was like 3 hours long, and it was too much Michael Bay.
I can't handle those movies.
So done for. But anyway, it was like 2 hours long, and I thought it was like just the right length. It didn't feel like it was dragging on. You didn't reach a point where you're like, wow, this is still going okay. Like it went. It was just right. But it sort of picked on itself constantly. It was aware of. It was
funny because a couple of things you mentioned I want to touch on. The pacing of it. Initially, I was sort of uncomfortable with. In the first, like, maybe 10, 15 minutes, it was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Up until they all got imprisoned, I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. And they were throwing names around that I was kind of like, I know Thanos. And they were showing a lot of things, because all of a sudden they had to introduce each character, and so they did it in a perfect way. They had them all fighting each other. They had them all kicking the shit out of each other. But then it's like, and here's Ronan the Accuser. I was like, I know Ronan, so okay, I got a little bit of that. And then here are these two chicks. Okay, I think I've seen her on the posters. So it was like this sort of...
What is happening? Who's that?
Yeah.
Why should I care? What is going on?
Yeah. And then all of a sudden they hit the prison, and it's like, oh, I already know these guys. Cool. Okay. I feel comfortable with these characters.
I loved the pacing of the whole film. I thought they did such a great job.
The whole element of them not taking it seriously. There are just some absolutely classic moments ruined in a great way by this movie. Like, there's this big heroic thing that Star-Lord does to Gamora, and he saves her, and it's right down.
They're having this great moment, and then he's just like, and I found something inside me that was just so heroic, and he starts just being self-centered all over again.
And she's just like, you think this is the moment where they're gonna kiss? This is so great, and no.
Yeah, no, it's they do such a great job with all of that. All the lines, they have such great writing for that film.
They have
so many witty one-liners.
They have the rousing speech sequence from everything from Mass Effect to Star Wars.
Yeah, where everybody's standing up slowly, like one by one, like, oh, and I will fight beside you, and oh, I'd rather, die among friends, and blah, 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 blah. And, like, finally Rocket sort of throws it all off, and he's just like, I don't have that long of a lifespan anyway. And then he stands up, and this was one of my favorite parts of the movie. Like, he just sort of stands up and looks around, and everybody's like, all right, I'm standing. Y'all happy now? We're all standing around. Bunch of jackasses, just sort of immediately
standing in a circle. Look at us.
Yeah.
And it's really great. I loved the movie. We loved the movie. Go see it now.
Right now.
Matt, go.
Matt,
go.
get off the podcast and go watch it.
It's too late. No, it's too late to go see it. I'd love to.
Yeah.
What night are you going to see it?
Thursday.
I'll find out if I work. Maybe I'll go watch it a third time.
I would watch that movie. I saw the first Iron Man probably 3 or 4 times in theaters. I saw Avengers in theaters 3 times. I would watch this 10 times. This was really fun.
It was awesome.
Nobody really realizes how extremely difficult it is to get Tom to commit to watching a movie. So the fact that he could commit to watching Guardians of the Galaxy and can say that he would go and watch it again is really saying something.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get him to watch one of my favorite movies that I know he'll absolutely love for the longest time, and he's just like, yeah, someday.
Katie's kind of like that too, actually.
It's not even about going into a theater. This is a movie I could watch right here on the internet, and it's
you have it at your fingertips, and you're like, I just don't want to commit that amount of time.
It is. It's committing time to sitting and just watching something. But that being said, go watch Guardians. Now let's talk about video games.
Yes.
And now I got high.
You did not open that pie box properly. Show them. Please show them.
I need to see this. I need to see the travesty of the pie box.
I just tore into it.
That's not even close to how you open that.
Sure.
I don't care. I can still get to it.
Tim, you're so not. I can't do this. Put your arm underneath. There you go. Siamese headphones. Alright, I'll show you how to open it. Ready? Hi.
Yeah, you get both sides.
Yeah.
And you just lift it up.
Yep.
I know how to do it.
Well, I know. I'm just showing
He
you how
willfully did not do it the correct way.
Yeah, see?
Oh, I should have had dinner.
So,
applause.
So,
now that we've thoroughly spoiled Guardians for Matt, spoil
You guys were very thorough. I'm glad she likes that so much.
Queer Jets.
You guys were very thorough.
You have wholeheartedly ruined it. Ruined it. So, Matt, since we have spoiled Guardians of the Galaxy for you, why don't you spoil Space Engineers for us?
You can't spoil Space Engineers. It's a construction sim.
Go with the segue!
Your segues are awful. We've established this. Let's see. Space Engineers is a game that it was early. When I first started playing it, it was early access, and it had nothing but building spaceships and mining. You could go mining for stuff. Yeah, but at the time, there's no survival mode, so the mining was pointless. Mm-hmm. So most people just build spaceships. Mm. And it's similar to Minecraft, where you start from nothing, so you can build pretty much any shape you want. I've been having so much fun building ships with basically gigantic axe blades on the front of them, and I've been cutting the default ships in half with them.
This sounds like a game I need in my life right now.
It's been really fun so far, and there's a few other ship types I've played around with. Like I've played with like making a Borg sphere. Mm. Making that work has been really difficult because the way you have to do thrusters in a certain way.
Inertial dampeners, perhaps.
There are inertial dampeners in the game.
Yes.
To make my axe blade ships work, I have to shut off the inertial dampeners so that I can jump out and watch it hit the other ship.
Hashtag first world Matt problems.
It's like, oh my god, why is this so difficult? But no, another thing I've found that's really cool is that you can download other ships people have built and load up their worlds as if they're your own.
That's cool.
And then you can tinker with their ships and make them work in different ways. Mm-hmm. Someone built, like, you know how big a Death Star is?
About the size of a moon.
No, that's no moon. That's no moon.
But it's not a moon. Oh, and so you guys probably know how big a Star Destroyer is.
Large.
As well.
Very large.
Someone made
approximately large.
But no, someone built this ship that fills like 30% of the map that you get to build in.
Oh.
And I tried to load it up and it killed my computer. It crashed it, and I'm just like, I'm not opening that file ever again. I've seen pictures of it.
I've seen pictures of it. I've heard stories of this.
The ships that I'm building right now fit into the docking bays of this ship.
Oh.
And it's like, oh my god.
Oh man.
And this person managed to make it work. He has the right amount of reactors. He has doors that actually open, which are almost impossible to make in the game. He has in order to traverse the ship, he has these cars. Like, you can actually build cars now. In the most recent update, you can build vehicles.
See, like inside his ship, he actually has intership transport.
Yeah, for you to get from one end to the other. So cool. And I was like, that's really cool.
That's funny. Yeah.
How big the ship? It must have taken him hours. And from his page on the Steam community, it shows that he actually had a team of people helping him for a while, and he had to finish it himself. And the finishing touches are the harder parts, like figuring out.
Everyone either quit or died.
Yeah. Figuring out how much reactors you need, figuring out the power. Like, there's actual things, like, in science fiction, that problems the characters come to that they have to figure out. You have to figure those out. Like, there's one ship I was building that kept having power fluctuations. I would lose power, I would get more, I would have, like, middle ground, and then it would keep jumping to and fro. And I had the wrong mix of small reactors to large reactors.
I liked that element about FTL. Which, if nobody here has heard of FTL watching this, go play that right now. That is an amazing, amazing game. Tim has actually beat it, at least once.
Of course you have.
You didn't know that?
I figured that you did. That's why I said you have.
I could only assume that you did. And that's a very, very difficult accomplishment. It's a roguelike space game where you basically have to get to the end, and that's a lot harder than it sounds. But one of the elements of it is you have limited resources for what you can allocate to powering things on your ship. So it's like, okay, I have X amount of bars of energy. I can put 2 into making sure I have good guns. I can put 1 into making sure I have a shield. But oh shit, I have no oxygen. Well, maybe one.
Sometimes you have to cut the power to the oxygen to power that shield.
Mm-hmm. And you have to decide how much of a sacrifice you're willing to make. Like, do I kill the 3 guys in this room, but probably destroy the pirate ship that's attacking me? Yeah. And so I like that. I like that element of kind of problem solving. Is it similar to that in Space Engineers, where you're like, oh, I have to use this correct amount here for this or that? Or is it just, here's a thruster?
A lot of the ways the game works, if you're doing survival mode, it works just like the game, except it's multiplayer. If you're playing on a multiplayer map with people and building ships together, you may need someone to carry plutonium ore and put it into the reactor so that you can dodge the asteroid that you're going towards. It's
That's
like, we've
cool.
lost power. We lost power? That asteroid's coming pretty quick. Oh my god, we lost power. And you have to coordinate with people you barely know to get plutonium ore into that reactor before you crash.
I like that a lot. Yeah.
Or all of your work has gone up, you know.
I built this ship with my bare hands!
This city.
Oh god.
You're just cruising through space. We built this city! So I know what I'm doing when I get Space Engineers.
Yeah, the survival mode's fun, but it's... If you think surviving in Minecraft is hard, try surviving in space. You know?
Can I make a confession about Minecraft really quickly?
Sure.
I said I've never been able to play on survival mode.
Aw.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
For whatever reason, like, I just lack the capacity. I don't know how to defend myself. I just immediately start running and get destroyed.
The only way I've ever played is survival mode. I get into creative mode and I'm like, too many options. Well,
it gets really boring when you get into creative mode because it's like there's no payoff for it.
Yeah.
Like, you make a few things and you're like, that was fun, but...
Yeah, you make the things rapidly. You're like, look what I made in 10 minutes. Then in survival mode, you make that same thing. It's like, look what I took 3 days to build.
And it's like, this is mine, okay? This is mine. And that's why when you see a creeper...
No zombies in this dojo.
So, I think we have our episode name.
No zombies in this dojo.
I'm gonna write that down.
So far for me in Space Engineers, the survival mode is so stressful that I've been just playing creative mode, and I just barely got my axe blade ship to work, and it took me like almost 10 playthroughs of you know, a couple hours playing to get it to work. So I can imagine survival mode.
I'm sorry, I gotta interrupt you because I misheard that as I got my axe blade shipped to work. So I'm thinking you're at Home Depot and you're like, yes, here it is.
The axe blade shift.
It's like, this will be fantastic.
I sold so many axe blades that day. Oh my god.
Did a customer come up to you and say, I need to, don't do it, I need to ask you a question.
No! I feel like you would be the customer that would come in and say that, and I'd be like, Tom, get the fuck out.
Do you actually need anything? No, I'm not even supposed to be in this town.
Why are you coming in here just making a pun, and then that's such a waste of gasoline? And it's like not.
Do you know who we're talking about here?
Not a waste to you. No, I get it.
He just totally dismissed that too. Yeah, no, I get it.
No, it's cool, man.
More about what I'm saying, though.
How about me? So, Matt, you dig it?
Yes. So when you're in a multiplayer map, pretty much anyone can mess with anybody's stuff. You know, as I do with like Minecraft multiplayer, I went really towards the end of the map, like out of the way.
Yep.
So, you know, to avoid trolls. But someone managed to find me, and my ship was like pretty much done. And I was flying it around and testing it, and this guy attaches a gravity generator and artificial mass to my ship, and I'm like, hey, what are you doing? He's like, I'm testing something. And then he builds a platform and puts he just puts even more artificial mass on the on the platform, and he keeps like copy pasting the artificial mass on there. And the artificial mass in the game basically creates almost like it turns whatever you put it on into something that actually has mass that your gravity generator can interact with. So my ship instantly just goes flying into this thing, and it all just like breaks into pieces, and the pieces fly around everywhere. And the guy's just like remarkable. Like he's some kind of scientist or something.
And he got back into his ship and left.
Yes, exactly. He just sort of left, and I was just like, "Hey,
have I just been experimented on?"
Yeah. It was just so great. I was just like remarkable. I was just like, did you get good results? Can I see the data?
Is there anything else I can provide?
Yeah, I mean,
that's
it's hard to be the guinea pig without knowing what part of the test I'm in. Am I the control? Am I the main study group? What's going on here?
I love it. Well, we should probably move on, if that's cool. So, speaking of conquistadors, Tim.
Okay, thank you.
I'm actually segueing into you, Tim, not the game. But
yeah,
you.
I know. It was good. It was good. Terrible, but good. So, taking a break from WoW, Xbox Live has their Games with Gold program. So, on the Xbox One, I had downloaded an arcade game called Guacamelee Super Turbo Championship Edition.
I just saw your face get illuminated with a computer screen, and you look down. So it's like, I've been playing this game that I really like called...
I had to look it up. I couldn't remember the subtitle. The Super Turbo Championship Edition.
So you've been playing Avocado the game.
Yeah. Basically, it's a...
Sounds delicious.
It's a Metrovania game. Mm-hmm. So it's a 2D side-scrolling beat-em-up brawler. And you get upgrades and you play luchadors in it. And the whole game is themed Mexican mythology and the whole world.
Fiesta!
Yeah. And it has couch co-op, which is...
That's cool.
That's such a rare thing these days.
That's cool. I miss couch co-op.
So I've been playing it with my brothers. So just the three of us on the couch, switching off, taking turns. So it's super fun. Yeah, exactly. Fun, beat 'em up. Definitely worth the free.
Well, I've seen it a lot in like Humble Bundles and stuff. I actually probably own it. I think I
somewhere. Yeah, I actually did too at some point.
Yeah, but I've never. It wasn't a game that was on my radar, so it just kind of went below the 876 other games that I have, to address or play again. And man, I don't know. Is it worth just like popping it up and saying, I'm going to spend tonight playing Avocado?
Yeah. It's super funny. Like, it doesn't take itself seriously. The dialogue is like, it's very humorous. There's a lot of Easter eggs. Mm-hmm. There's so many Easter eggs just scattered throughout. Like, you'll be going through a town, and the next thing you know, the formation of the bricks on the wall looks like an original pixel Mario.
Oh, that's awesome.
You keep going, and then you keep going, and then you see a pixel, like, Mega Man. Mm-hmm. Just the fun, right there, couch co-op, 2D game. If you're looking for something like that. Something fun and enjoyable, and you can beat in a couple sittings,
Cool.
Give it a look.
The best couch co-op game that I have played lately is Broforce, which just today came out with the Expendabros for free, which that's awesome. So probably nobody here knows what Broforce is, so
I've heard you talk about it a lot.
Yeah, I can talk about that real quick. So Broforce is also 2D side-scrolling. It's a pixel art done gloriously. It's way, way over-the-top violence. It's actually pretty much the Expendables, the game. All of the characters are every action movie hero ever. It's Rambo, it's Arnold Bro Schwarzenegger, it's Chuck Broris, it's everybody in some kind of bro form with just these massive guns, and it's destructible terrain. It's that side-scrolling pixely thing, so anything you shoot blows up. And it's actually like my go-to game for a really quick sitting, because you could just pop in and be satisfied. You just pop it, it's like, cool, I finished like 3 levels. They're super short, they're fun. It's not like, I don't know, it's really simple. Like, it's simple to play, and that's really fun because of that. It's when you jump really far. When you shoot, it's like a one-shot on everything. The only maybe downside is that every enemy can also one-shot you. But it just adds this kind of like, oh no, they're shooting at me. You see the bullets, so you can just jump over it. But it's explosive. It's really fun. I'm excited to play the Expendabros. The regular game is probably only like $15 on Steam right now. But the Expendabros, I guess, is supposed to be all the expendable characters versions of, you know, Sylvester Stallone and Statham and all them. And it's been released as a free package, so I don't know. I don't think you have to own the game to be able to play it. So check that out. Go play it. Go download it. See if you like it. It's really fun. It's not like... Yeah, on first blush, it looks like it's going to be Contra, but it's not. It's way more chaotic in a weirdly fun and easy to follow way. Like, I played a lot with Alec, and again, it's our go-to game. We just sit down, it's like, let's play this for a couple of rounds. It's a good stress reliever. If you're just pissed off about something and you just, I'm going to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. And every character has their own unique sort of main attack and secondary attack. And like the Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator version, his chain gun, his main attack, it's incredibly powerful, but the recoil is enough that it knocks you back incredibly fast. So we've actually skipped whole levels by facing the other way, shooting the gun and jumping once, and you just fly over the entire platform to get to the end. And his secondary ability is like, for 30 seconds, you are the Terminator, you know, completely indestructible, so you can just mow through guys. They have like Judge Dredd, he's got a homing rocket. They have RoboCop. It's really fun, especially if you like action movies or just 80s, you know.
Right, which is your thing, for sure.
That's definitely my thing. So, that's fun.
Yeah.
Speaking of side-scrolling platformers...
You're getting better, but, you know, we'll see how.
Speaking of blocks...
Mediocre. Tim and I actually spent some time today playing Battle Block Theater, which is actually ridiculous and fun.
I love that game. I love that game with all of my heart.
It's exactly that, side-scrolling platformer. You just sort of work your way through levels and collect gems and have to have so many to open the door to get to the next level, and that's really
Which
sort of it.
Sounds like a real simple premise, and it is, but...
But they just, they're hilarious. They have this sort of narrator that's going over the whole thing, and their choice of dialogue for him is just ridiculous.
A ship full of friends, hundreds of friends, best friends, one and all. Veritable friendship it was.
And you get this, you know, random weaponry, like you'll use a fan, or you'll have like a little toy frog that has a bomb in it, just random, you know, paper airplane, homing bomb.
As you play, it's sort of like Broforce, you're unlocking different, you earn gems.
Faces.
And you
unlock faces and like different heads for your character, and then you can unlock different weapons and stuff.
I was playing that with Alec as well, and we unlocked Finn and Jake from Adventure Time. So we were playing just as Finn and Jake, and that was so much fun.
Yeah.
And it's like...
And, you know, it's one of those games where you have, like, infinite lives. You know, it doesn't count against you if you die.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, you just get into it with whoever you're playing with, and you're just like, push. You shove them into rope spikes.
My first introduction to that game was playing with you, Alicia.
Yeah.
And I have never died in such, like, a concentrated span of time. Like, so much.
Yeah.
And enjoyed it.
Exactly. Yeah. It just sort of... You don't really get angry, I guess. You never reach a point where you're like, oh, I'm so frustrated, this is so difficult. It's just stupid fun, which is great.
Yeah, and the narrator really adds a lot to it. The atmosphere is like you're these little characters and these cats have you imprisoned or something like that. I haven't finished it, so I don't quite know how it's going to play out, but I don't think you need to know. It's not like there's a narrative that you're following. But it's just like, you know, the voice and the personality of the narrator is enough to make you be like, I don't care that I have fallen into this lava pit. Yeah.
When you finally reach a point where you find like a secret realm area that's just ridiculous because it's all filled with like either like every portion of the wall is a portal and everything in the middle of it's like bouncy stuff, so you just are shooting all over. Like the music that they do is him just sort of doing this random sort of beatboxing and
it's such a great atmosphere.
It's a mess.
Oh, I approve.
It's made by the same people that did Castle Crashers
and Alien Hominid, maybe, or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a great lineup of games. So if you could play any of them, we definitely recommend it.
Yeah.
So, we are Drunk on Mana, and thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you dig what you're seeing. We'll be back with another episode when we get together and record another one. Subscribe to our YouTube Outros are the hardest thing on the planet. So, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check us out on our Facebook page, our Twitter. We're all over the internet, and we'd love to hear from you. What did you guys think of Guardians of the Galaxy? Tell us. Tell us in the comments. We'd love to hear it. So,
I don't know what I think yet.
Unless you're Matt and you're morally conflicted about life. Guardians? I don't even know what to have for breakfast.
I actually don't.
So, on that note, thanks for watching.
Have a good one.
How do you know what I'm gonna have, huh?
Matt, you're gonna have a burrito for breakfast.
I might.